Good evening. It is March 19th, 2018. We are the Bitter Knitters. My name is Jacqueline, and Cynthia is back with us. Maybe.
Hello, how are you, people of the world?
Welcome back, Cynthia. Arthur is away today. He's got some technical issues, so he won't be here tonight. But yeah, it's good to have Cynthia back. It'll be nice to have another woman's opinion on things.
Well, I want everybody to know, since it's been a burning hot question all over Hollywood, the reason why I have not been in attendance of the show lately. I was busy rallying up all the white supremacists so we could take
Well,
everybody's rights away.
you're doing a good job. Doing a really good and scary job. So stop keeping it up, I guess. Let's go quickly into our stories because I actually got quite a few and I want to get to quite a few of them. Quick, I don't know if it'll be quick, but an update on what we talked about last week, the Austin bombings. When we last talked, there were 3 bombings, had killed 2 people. One was a 17-year-old boy. Packages left on the front steps of people's houses, and they picked them up and opened them up and got blown away.
Yeah.
Last night, a 4th device exploded. What makes this really scary is that it wasn't a package left on somebody's steps. They think the package was left at the side of the road. 2 people were walking, 2 men were walking or riding their bikes by, and there may have been a tripwire. So they might not even have picked it up or touched it. There might have been a wire somewhere that triggered it. And luckily, these guys are expected to recover. But this is really scary,
Well, I was reading the article on that, and the cops are kind of a little bit afraid that the bomb makers are getting, what's the word? They're getting good with it.
Oh, okay. So they're like perfecting their technique. That's scary. That is really scary. And now they're putting them anywhere. I mean, if I was in Austin, honestly, I'd be terrified. And I don't want to make a panic and scare people, but I would be afraid. I'm afraid for the people and I don't live there, because it's just a random thing. You're just walking down the road and somebody could try to blow you up. I hope they're able to catch these people, whatever their agenda is, catch them soon, because that's really scary. And it's not even just in one neighborhood. It's all over the city. I don't know. But if you see something, report it. Don't pick it up. Don't open it. Don't even approach it. Really, don't approach it, because we don't know how close you have to get. Let the police deal with it. They've got experts. It's scary.
Yeah.
Scary that just somebody thinks that they have the right to do that to you,
Well, you know what? Let me not make comments. Let me be as unbiased as I could be. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it bothers me that there's people in the world. And this is not just for these bombing people. These are for people that, want to rob you. You're walking down the street and they want to mug you, or people that think they can rape you, or people that think they can assault you. How dare you think you can do this to people? What makes you think that you can do this to somebody? Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm angry today. I'm feeling a little riled up today.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's a lesbian coming out of you.
Okay, so as Cynthia knows, Arthur and I are pretty not anti-gun, but anti-gun getting into the hands of the wrong people. So last week we talked about the story of the boy who repeatedly shot his sister in the stomach with a shotgun. Last night, another horrible story came out. A 9-year-old boy went into his parents' bedroom, went into the side table, took a handgun, and shot his 13-year-old sister in the back of the head because she wouldn't give him the video game controller. The mother was at home. She was in the kitchen preparing lunch, but he was still able to access a gun and kill his sister. And this is the thing we keep talking about. Why do you have a gun in your house where a child can reach it?
Easily access it, yeah.
This mother or father, whoever owns the gun, or both, need to be charged with negligence and possibly some sort of, 3rd-degree murder. I don't know what the degrees of murders are, manslaughter, something. Because they're complicit in the death of their child. 100%. She's dead, 13 years old, just beginning her life. And because people can get guns like that. I don't know. What do you think that there should be more repercussions against the parents, or what?
Of course, I do. I hate. I hate talking about guns. I really do. I think it's it's such a played out conversation. I hate to say that. Like I can't believe I just said played out. But we should have all moved on
Yeah.
in our lives where we aren't talking about these commonsensical things like don't put your gun on the nightstand or
Yeah.
don't allow somebody who may have a mental illness to have access to assault rifles or don't have bump stocks. I don't know,
Yeah.
common sense. So
Yeah.
I'm tired of talking about gun violence. I'm tired of talking about accidental gun violence because these conversations shouldn't exist. You know what I mean? They shouldn't exist. We should not have to be talking about this anymore. The fact that we are all subjected to these kinds of conversations really sicken me.
Yeah, of course. But that's the thing. Like, why hasn't anything changed? I don't want to just bring it down to Republicans or to the NRA. There's obviously more going into it. Why?
Because part of it is that we are selfish. We are
Yeah.
selfish. It's just like we don't want people to limit the food intake that we have. We don't want people to limit how many guns we have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry to say, to compare it to something as silly as food intake, I, you have problems with someone trying to take away your guns, but you don't have a problem with somebody controlling a woman's body and reproductive, health.
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me is ass backwards. I don't really use that term ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that I'm using that term is kind of telling of something. We are in an era, as I was saying to you off the air, I think we are in an era now where there's not much of an in between anymore. There isn't much of a middle ground. You are either this or you are that now. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah, I
like
get it.
you're either pro whatever or against whatever. You can't
Yeah,
seem
there's
to
no
have
middle
a middle
ground.
ground.
And
Yeah, you
it
can't have
seems
a middle
like depending on either what side you are, and this is not just about guns, this is about anything, you're right. Um, to give an inch, you feel like if you give an inch, you're giving them a mile.
a mile.
And it's
Yeah.
like there's the compromise is gone,
Hmm.
and
No
it's
one
like
wants to work with each other anymore.
when
No
and when
one
it
is.
comes to gun control, it's like either, the one side is saying we need to change gun laws and the other side is saying you're trying to take our guns. And it's like,
Yeah.
no,
I think
no.
it's a conversation that needs to be had. I just think that we need to have commonsensical conversations about
Yeah.
what it's like to have a gun and what the consequences. I have never on the air stated what at least from what I'm aware, I've never stated what my opinions are of guns and gun control. I
Yeah.
try to be as neutral as possible, and I find that people like me, people like you, we're slowly disappearing.
Yeah.
I think that we're all kind of becoming a one side take it all opinion kind of a
Yeah.
thing now. Like I it's a conversation. I feel like we need to start with a conversation, and I think that what these kids are doing with these protests, the 17-minute school walkout that they did, it's
Hmm.
fantastic because it opens up the conversation.
Yes.
Do I necessarily think that it's completely right? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I felt like maybe we should have done that after Sandy Hook. No tea, no
Oh,
shade. Not
yeah.
being shady
No,
towards these motherfucking
absolutely.
people. I feel really, we're doing this right now. But I mean,
And that's the sad thing that the kids of today are the ones that are fighting for change now after
hey.
it's happened to so many people over the years. And I'm not just talking about school shootings, I'm talking about the Las Vegas shooting. I'm talking about, when the terrorist on somebody at terrorist watch list is able to go into Pulse nightclub and kill a bunch of, people, innocent people, just trying to have a good time. Something's wrong. I'm glad that the kids of today are doing something. Like I said on the other show you weren't here for, I'm so hopeful that these kids are inspiring change and they're getting involved in
Mm-hmm.
politics because, everybody keeps saying, oh, millennials, they just look at their phones and they just
No,
want
no,
to
no,
watch
no, 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 no.
vines
There
and
was a
stuff.
very good post that Scott, your husband, posted on his Facebook a couple of days ago, maybe even just yesterday, about millennials, and it was the kids on their phone, like leaning towards the wall, and how what it was probably in the 1910s, 1920s, people leaning, but it was newspapers.
Yeah.
Each generation, each decade, each century has had some sort of vice of theirs. Right now it just seems so prevalent because it's, I guess, technology, and a lot of people really haven't, what's the word? They haven't adapted to it completely. But when television had first become mainstream, people were spending hours upon hours in front of the TV. We had TV dinners.
They would have big, huge viewing parties. Because the one person on the street had the TV, and all the neighbors would come over and watch, whatever, the Ed Sullivan show or whatever show it would be, right? People would sit around and watch the TV. And the older generation probably were horrified by TVs, right? Yeah. Oh my God. The older generation was probably horrified by radio. Technology is changing. Technology is changing how we live, but it's no different. We're always absorbed in whatever we're absorbed in.
Yeah, but I wonder if people, if you really want to be educated, if you really want to be informed, go into the history of how BBC was created, right? And how the crowning of Queen Elizabeth II almost did not go televised because they thought it was vulgar.
Yeah.
Imagine television was deemed as vulgar for something that they thought was sacred.
Yeah. And remember, they still didn't show her being anointed. That was still private. And, that was not seen by the average Joe. We got to see her walking in. We got to see her get her scepters. But the actual religious, holy, sacred act was not seen by anybody.
Yeah. I think that these young kids, and we forget sometimes, these kids that were born in the year 2000 now have gone through something much more tumultuous than what I think I had gone through as a child. And it is, they saw 9/11.
Yeah.
They saw the rise and fall of Bush, rise and fall of Obama, and now, 45.
And they're living in the fear that, I mean, I don't know about you. Growing up, I wasn't afraid a terrorist was going to come and get me. I wasn't afraid. I said this to Arthur. I never did a gun safety school lockdown drill. That never existed. We did fire drills where we all stood outside in the cold, right? I wasn't afraid as a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, I don't want my kids to live in fear either. They have to be aware and be careful. But, kids today are living in a world of violence.
Oh, they are. And it's not just violence, but it's racial prejudice. It's very prevalent in their time. When I was growing up as a kid, I did not, and maybe it's because I'm not African American, but I didn't have to fear that I would get shot by whoever it was.
I'm sure Black people growing up have always thought that.
But not me.
But and maybe that's one of the,
like they did too,
and I think that's one of the good things about technology is that certain people are being held accountable for their actions. So if you want to stand on a school bus and sing a song with the N-word and talk badly about Black people, someone's going to record it and you're going to get publicly shamed. So that's the good part. Now we've had the horrible parts where people will do revenge porn, or people will put false news out there. People will hack. People will steal elections.
Like Cambridge would exist, but whatever. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But it comes with the positives and it comes with the goods. Like, for example, we were just talking about this 3D printing, right?
Yes.
Easily accessible now. I'm sure when we were growing up, if it even existed when we were growing up.
It didn't exist until probably about 8 years ago?
8 years ago. I mean, it must have cost an arm and a leg. Right now you could buy one for like $300 online. But
they're printing shelters for people.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing. People will have homes to live in.
Yeah. Oh, they would have even body parts, organs that they can use. But again, but it also comes with negatives where they can potentially print out guns, or they can print out, blade. I don't know if it's possible, but blades or whatever the case was.
I'm sure. Even you print out a club, now you've got a weapon.
Yeah, but everything in life does come with a positive. positive. It comes with a negative. It's not something that we can stop. I can't stop it. You can't stop it. No one can stop it. It just is. It's a fact of life. I'm sure that when the cavemen discovered fire, I'm sure they didn't think that but they didn't know that it would cause like literal forest fires, deforestation. Yeah, at the time. No, we all.
And I'm sure there was some cave people that were terrified of fire and wanted nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. But it's just the case. We just have to learn how to accept movement, and I feel like you become obsolete.
Yeah.
Like I had said to somebody in my life recently, you become obsolete when you don't know how to move forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, here's the story. Let's move on. This is about more technology.
Mm-hmm.
So we all know that the big push is for self-driving cars.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be safer. Yeah. They're going to keep us safe. They're going to, decrease accidents, all this stuff. Well, a woman just today in Tempe, Arizona, was hit by a self-driving Uber car and died. Why are you laughing? She's dead.
No. Continue. I'm not laughing at her being dead. I apologize for that. Wrong time.
That's horrible. So there was somebody behind the wheel at the time, but it was in autonomous mode, and it hit her and killed her. Now, I guess they don't know. Oh, that happened last night. Sorry, not today. They don't know what's happened yet. I guess they'll have to do a forensic analysis of the computer and all that stuff. But, and they've suspended all, auto Ubers for now.
I'm laughing because I feel like we haven't learned our lesson.
Yeah.
As people, we really haven't learned our lesson. We're so, oh God, now this is going to sound like I'm a hypocrite, and so are you. We have, again, this is the other side where we've become so dependent on technology. We want to move it so far along. I feel like if you're going to make something autopilot, it should not be a car. It should be maybe the trains, or it should maybe be a plane or something instead of a goddamn car, and create this. But, bravo to whoever tried to do this. Accidents do happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, accidents are going to happen. I'm kind of torn by self-driving cars because I see the potential of them. Like if you have a heart attack, the car can take over and you're not going to crash and kill. Or you have a stroke or something's happening while you're driving, or there's about to be an accident and the car can prevent it. I think that's great. But like, we're so lazy. We want everything to be done for us.
But that's the problem, is that when we allow technology to live our lives for us and we become gluttons.
It's like WALL-E. I really think we're going to end up like WALL-E.
Yeah, we are.
Maybe not up in the space, but we're going to be like fat blobs that just sit on like a little space scooter, looking at a TV screen. I'm already halfway there.
I'm a svelte white woman, so I don't know. I do believe that we're slaves to AI, or we're going to become slaves to AI. I think that a lot of us are starting to lose our self-thoughts, our constructive thinking. But just the other day, just to kind of put this into perspective as well, right? I am not the biggest fan of Kindles. I think you know this about me. I'm not a big fan of Kindles. I'm not a big fan of e-readers or whatever else there is out there. And the reason is because I like a physical something. Now, the physical something may not be the most environmentally friendly, but I do like the physical aspect of a book, and turning the page is a satisfaction to it.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, the other day I was kind of made to feel a little bit like I was behind the times, because somebody had said to me, well, you should just go get a Kindle, because I think you saw I posted,
I did see it.
Recommendations, and they were like, get a Kindle. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, call me whatever, but I like a person that knows how to drive their own car.
Yeah.
Kind of something suave about it. I like a person that knows how to park their own car. I like a person that knows how to navigate themselves, with or without the use of a map. I don't need all the bells and whistles to come with my technology. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I enjoy the new iPhones and the new Androids with the technology that scans your face as your unlocking method, right? I enjoy that. I enjoy the laptops that come with the fingerprint reader. But that's about the level of excitement that I get from it. I still manually type my stuff. I still don't go, hey Siri, can you blah 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 blah. I'm not there yet, and I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it. I'm saying that I have a level of independency that I like to have. I don't like for things, literal things, to do my job for me.
You know what I do like about the Kindle or an e-reader? Because I do have one. I haven't used it. I haven't read a book in a long time. I'm so bad. I like not having all the clutter of the books around. I often give my books away because I just can't deal with all the clutter.
I enjoy the clutter. I don't know what it is.
I can't deal with it anymore.
I'm a visual person. Maybe that is what it is. I like to see my book collection spread out on a beautiful Jonathan Adler. We are not paid by Jonathan Adler.
I don't even know what that is. I'm like, is that a character on a TV show? I don't know who that is.
I like a beautiful spread of things. I like a beautiful looking home. I don't like illusions, and I feel like an e-reader or Kindle is an illusion. It's just like an autopilot car it's an illusion. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I like something physical. I like something I can touch, move, feel, see, hear. Yeah, I don't want to. Next thing you know, we're gonna be fucking traveling through transport, like teleportation. I don't want that shit, bitch. I don't want.
I don't think we'll ever have that.
Oh,
I don't think we'll ever have that. I don't think that's possible, but you never know. Yeah, let's go more technology. Now this is, we're in a digital age. I was made aware of something yesterday that I never even heard of. I never considered. I don't know if that makes me a racist, but if you are, I don't use a lot of GIFs or GIFs. I don't know how you say it. GIFs or GIFs or memes. I personally don't get the point. I understand them, but I don't get the relevancy of them, I guess. So if I'm I read your comment and you say something and I respond with a picture of Beyonce. This is one of the examples in the article. A picture of Beyonce smashing the car from the Lemonade video. That's considered digital blackface. Some people are saying that I am, what's the word? Culturally appropriating Black culture by using that meme. Now you're a person of white color. Do you get it? Like if I were to use a picture of Bruno Mars, from Uptown Funk saying I want to party tonight, am I culturally appropriating?
Okay. What?
So basically what they say in that moment you post the GIF, you're that's expressing you. And if you use something that's not you, you're appropriate. I know. I just feel like it's gone too far.
I think we've gone too far with trying to be appropriate, to be censored. Oh my God. First of all, I do not take offense when I see straight people post RuPaul's Drag Race GIFs, especially those of Alyssa Edwards, because she is fucking meme worthy. But
my daughter's obsessed with Alaska.
Yeah, like
she's not a trans person. She's not a drag queen. So would she be appropriating drag culture? I guess, but she loves it. She's not trying to make fun of it. She's not trying to make it seem like she created it. She loves it. She's sharing it.
Are people trying to be Egyptian when they put on eyeliner? Are people, you know what I mean? Are people trying to be Black when they braid their hairs? We have taken appropriateness cultural appropriation.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is what I've kind of come to understand, and I've spoken to some Black people about cultural appropriation because I really kind of wanted to get my real people in my lives' opinions on this because I don't want to offend people, right? And from what I get, and I get their reasons why. So my friend basically used the expression, the dreadlocks. If she were to wear dreadlocks to a lot of her jobs, they would tell her that they're not appropriate at work, right? And if I was able to go into my job with dreadlocks and nothing was said to me, that's the racial part of it. If I'm Kim Kardashian and I take a picture and I'm like, look at my cute braids I'm wearing in my hair today, and I created them, but they were China bumps or box braids or whatever, Black people have been calling them for years. And I'm trying to take credit for it, then that becomes the appropriation. But I think in a moment like this, like if I want to use a picture of freaking Cookie from Empire, who I freaking love. She's so cool.
Am I trying to
I'm
appropriate
not trying
fucking
to be
what?
like I created that or I made up that script. I'm just trying to be like, look how cool Cookie is, and she's saying exactly what I feel right now.
Yeah, no comment. I'm just gonna leave it no
It's
comment.
gone too far.
People have
It's
gone too far in general with stuff. Like, don't
yes.
even get me
And
started.
I'm not like, I don't think we need to go back in time, with minstrels and blackface shows or back to before the civil rights, where I could
But
walk
these,
around and say the N word to whoever I wanted. I'm not calling for that time. I
I'm
don't
just,
think it's funny to make black people jokes or Polish jokes or jokes like
I'm
that.
just going to steal Lauryn Hill's album and say this is the miseducation of people. If you
Yes.
can, I know, we're big history people, right? Like you,
Yes.
me, and Arthur talk about a lot about history, and this is why I think we understand what real cultural misappropriation is.
Yeah.
This is not. It's a GIF, a GIF, or a
Yeah.
GIF, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's just, what do you call that? It's just a statement. It's just a something. Next thing you know, you're going to tell me that the word, monkey is racist because it's referring to a person that's black, when all I wanted to really say was that monkey looks like a monkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
People have taken things too far, and I feel like when we become too sensitive, um, we're all just crying wolf.
Well, I think it's not helping us. I mean, if the idea is to bring together our culture so that we're not always pointing out everything
Mhm.
that's wrong with, quote, black people or Asian people, um, and I'm not to say that racism doesn't exist. I know racism still exists. I've seen it. Um, but when we're always distracting and looking at these little things that don't really matter in life, like really, it doesn't matter if somebody uses a GIF of freaking Nene Leakes or a GIF of fucking Michael Jackson eating popcorn from Thriller. Does it really matter in the scope of things? No one is trying to take your culture by using these GIFs. They're funny and they make sense. And if they're not being used in a racist way, but they're
Yeah,
being used in a appreciative way, get over it. The
yeah,
more we point out racism and stuff like this, the more it becomes divided.
yes, yes. Oh yeah,
We
oh
can't
yeah,
come together if we're looking at the little things. How am I supposed to point out, white nationalists and Nazis and KKK people
yeah,
when I'm
oh
busy
yeah.
trying to fight somebody saying I can't use a GIF of, I can't even think of a black person right now, Obama, on a kite,
Mhm.
on the kite surfing. Vacation starting. I put up a GIF of Barack Obama, and now I'm a racist.
You're a racist, yeah, yeah.
I think
Get it.
for every step forward, we're really pushing ourselves back a couple more steps.
Well, it's hard to
Yeah,
constantly speak because I feel like I'm just a broken record player at this point. It's like
yeah,
a lot of these young folks just do not understand what real racism is. They don't know, they really don't know what real racism is. They don't know what real prejudice is. They don't know what real, what's the word? They don't know what real
oppression.
oppression really is about. I had this really good conversation with a really good friend of mine about how these kids are now looking at, for example, I'm going to speak about the gay fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how they're now only learning in books about DOMA's repeal
Yeah,
that happened in 2015. This was 3 years ago, if that. I highly doubt it's been 3 years. It's probably 2.5 years or whatever.
yeah,
That's just a lesson for them. Some of us,
lived it.
some of
Yeah,
us lived it. Some of us were really fighting for it. Some of us sat down with senators, state senators, and legislators to try and get some sort of rights protected, for the LGBT community and QIA, whatever, however else I'm missing. I apologize. I don't know all of them. But
yeah,
for these young kids, it's just a lesson in a textbook. And I hate that it comes off that way, like I'm being snarky, but they don't know. And so they get to
yeah,
cry wolf. They don't know what it was like to learn in to learn in school that you can be fired and experience what it's like to be fired for your sexual orientation, because they hopefully, and thank God, will never have to go through that.
Yeah, because the ones that came before fought for your
Fought
rights.
for your rights. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to become snarky and shady and start mentioning stuff that I'm probably not supposed to mention on the air. But people really don't understand. It's just like with what's going on with the immigration fight right now, and how people do not get it. You don't get it. You don't understand it. You keep on using the wrong terms, the wrong words, because you've never been through it. The real root of that problem, you know, how you can come to a country, call it home, spend thousands upon thousands of dollars trying to fix what should have already been yours, because you did everything the legal route just to lose it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. There's not, I mean, when people think about the immigration, they're just thinking about Mexicans, right?
Yes.
And how they all snuck over the border. But there's a lot of people that came legally and had all kinds of issues because the way the immigration system works in not just America, but in Canada too, have been fucked over by the system. So, you know, when you just think about immigrants and you don't give a shit about them because they're straining our Medicare and they're straining our welfare. Do you think an illegal immigrant is getting welfare? You're stupid.
Oh my God.
You're so stupid.
My God. People don't understand. People really do not know.
Illegal immigrants are afraid to go to the hospital because they're worried they're going to have immigration called on them.
Yeah.
They don't understand how, especially illegals. I mean, I know there's people that are legal, you know, and it's still scary because you could be sent home at any minute. But illegal immigrants live in terror their entire lives.
Their entire lives. Yeah. How there seems to be this one-sided aspect. People don't know. And I hate to sound like I'm old. I've been very open about my age. I know I joke around a lot. I am 27 years old. I'm turning 28 this year. A lot of people seem to think you're very young. You have no idea the real life I have seen and lived. Same thing goes for Jacqueline. You know, we do not talk about our personal situations because it has no relevance a lot of the times. You know, we're talking about politics and current events. We're not talking about personal stuff here. And so people don't understand. I have seen a lot, and I have been through quite a lot. And it's hard because I think a lot of these young kids don't understand what real struggle is about. How tumultuous it was before. You know what I mean? Right now, you have easy access to anything. Your claim to fame is Instagram, Snapchat, Vine before it went down. Really dating myself here.
Like YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube even. You know, for example, I did makeup for a very long time, right? I did makeup when I was about 17. I started in that field, in that career. I didn't learn makeup through YouTube. I didn't learn how to contour and do this and do that through YouTube. I didn't draw on people's eyebrows like the blocks.
You know, honestly, if you had gone that route, you could have been YouTube famous because you have a good personality and you're very good. I've seen pictures of your stuff. You're very good.
Thank you. But
you're welcome.
People don't know what real hard work is. You know what I mean? People don't understand what real hard work for that is about. Like when we started, first of all, we are now called Bitter Nerds. We have been called many names in the past. We were, I'll bring it up. We were off the record. Off the record. Then we were, what was the other
True
name?
Radio.
True Radio. We were many names. We were many names before we got here. And we didn't let a little boop down the road make us go, okay, that's it. We started again. And we're going to
we lived our lives. We were busy before, and we, you know, didn't get into it. Now we're back into it.
And now we're back into it. Yeah, but a lot of kids seem to think. I heard a young kid literally say, not more than 8 years old, by the way, "Oh, I want to be YouTube famous."
I know.
With all sincerity, And because I had heard Arthur say this, and it was shocking until I had experienced it myself and said, what the are you talking about? I've never, ever in my life heard someone say that.
And that's a goal for people. And, the scary thing is, you kind of understand why they would, because some of these YouTube people have millions of followers. You look at someone like PewDiePie. He has more followers than, like, quote unquote, real celebrities. And he makes more money than some of these celebrities do in a year. It's crazy. And you can see why that allure is there, because it's, quote, easy fame, easy riches. You know what I mean? You don't have to work hard to be I shouldn't say they don't work hard. Some of them work hard. They're making their videos and cutting them, but it's not like, putting in 4 years of college or university or an apprenticeship.
Let's just talk about our careers before this and our careers. I still have a job, but, like, for example, makeup back then was really learning.
Yeah.
Like, makeup wasn't as easily accessible as it is
It wasn't. Like, my daughter learned how to do all her makeup off YouTube and off websites,
They don't know. And I was asked recently,
she never went for the blue eyeshadow and blue eyeliner stage like we did in the 80s.
Like, oh my God, which was, you know what I mean? Or
blue on blue.
Natural. No, but like, people really don't completely understand. I was talking about this. A friend of mine had asked, "Can you do my makeup?" I said, "Of course, no problem, sure." So I did her makeup. And she said, "I didn't believe that you knew how to do makeup after we were all said and done." She's like, "How do I get a finish like this?" I said, "You can't recreate a makeup artist's finish." "Well, what about those YouTube girls?" "They're not makeup artists. They're guru. I don't even guru. I guess they're YouTubers. We don't. A makeup artist doesn't tack on $500,000 worth of makeup on someone's face. With an, that's not kind of what makeup artists do. It's just the same thing with the hairstylist. Jacqueline doing somebody's hair, who's a professional, will not come out to be the same as a girl who just did somebody's hair. You know what I mean? Like,
I watch some of these videos and the girls tell you how to cut hair, and I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
People don't understand. Like, there is actual hard work. There's an actual what do you call that, foundation that you have to build beyond just wanting to be. And this is why I have a huge disconnect to a generation that I'm supposed to be a part of. I don't let my phone run my life. No, I don't have Snapchat. I barely have Facebook, and Jacqueline is my witness to this. I barely have Facebook.
I barely post on.
I barely when I do, it's something about food, most likely.
Yeah.
I don't have an affinity for it. My life is not ran by, like, for example, and we've all fallen victim to this, especially if you're gay, you know what I'm talking about, like these dating apps, right? Like,
oh yeah, I've never been on. I'm married, but I'd be, I've said this to Arthur, and I talked about this repeatedly. I'd be terrified to have to go on a dating app at my age now, in this day and age. I don't want to see some old 40 to 50-year-old guy's junk. Fuck off. They just send you pictures of their dicks, or or everybody just thinks it's all going to end up in a hookup, I don't know. And did we lose Cynthia? Are you there, Cynthia?
I'm here. No, I'm here. I'm thinking of how to word what I'm trying to say, because I feel like we really kind of went on a little bit of a tangent here.
Yeah.
People cultural misappropriation. I'm sure I'm not using the right term.
Yeah.
People don't understand what it really is about, because you've never really lived through real cultural misappropriation.
Yeah.
You have no idea what it's really like to be alienated, to be ostracized, to be isolated. You have no idea. Someone telling you that your hair is natural and have natural hair and all this stuff. You don't know that the people in the 80s were never granted an interview. People in the 70s were never granted an interview because they had to give a picture of themselves.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like to be in the 50s and the 60s and have to wear wigs because your hair was called inappropriate.
Yeah. Or they said the worst words.
Yeah.
Like racist words about it.
So you actually have no idea what it's really like to live through those moments, those real moments, even I don't completely know. I have somewhat of
No.
an idea,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't have a coming out story. I
The
don't have
posts,
one.
no, because I think Bever just kind of knew about you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a coming out
The
story.
closest I would ever get, and I'll never try to equate my living situation or the life I lived to what Black people or people of color have had to deal with. But I remember going to apply for a job. I got the job, but I remember the lady was looking at the application, and her husband, who owned the company, came out, and she's like, and right in front of me said, "Look at the address," because I lived in Metro housing. And they raised their eyebrows and they said, well, we can give her a shot. But basically, look at the address. I guess they assumed that I was going to be either a thief or a drug addict or not reliable based on my address. And I'm sure there's people out there with like a name like, Dejan, who probably people look at the name and say, oh, Dejan, not going to hire
Yeah.
them.
Oh yeah.
You know?
People really don't understand.
Yeah.
Right? Like people really don't understand. People really don't get
Yeah.
what some of us have really had to live through,
Yeah.
and work hard to not be a part of. And I think
Yeah.
really that's kind of what annoys me a lot of the times when I hear people talk about the struggle.
Yeah.
Bitch, what struggle?
Well, and that's the thing. I don't want to dismiss what people have had go on in their life because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's life is a unique story. I had my own struggle. My sisters lived their own struggle in life. My parents lived their own struggles. I wouldn't wish my parents' lives on anybody. But, and I know it's not the same as like somebody who grew up in the slave era, somebody who grew up pre-60s being Black in America. I know it's not the same. But everybody's struggle is unique and everybody's struggle is painful to them.
It's just that some struggles are actually real struggles and some are just
Yeah.
not.
Well,
Okay.
I don't want to dismiss everybody's lives, but
Let me not. Let me be nice. Okay.
yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, some people have had some really horrible, tragic lives, and some people's maybe not so bad. Maybe their mom was an asshole, or maybe their mom drank too much wine,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But yeah, it's kind of, everybody has had experiences, and I just this digital blackface, please, people, let's let this go because I think that you're just distracting from the real issues, the real issues
Yeah.
of racism, the real issues where people can't get a job just because their name is Dante. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
let's look at real problems in life.
Oh yeah. That's deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really deep.
Let's go on. Let's talk some more stuff. We only got about 15 minutes left. We got this story from our good friend Justin, who loves theme parks. We never met a guy who loved a theme park as much as Justin does. So he sent me this article and it's okay. So the headline is it's from Newsweek. Woman who claims Universal theme park fat shamed her has filed a discrimination complaint. So when you go to some of these theme parks, they have basically like I won't say weight restrictions, but if you can't fit in the seat with the seatbelt done up safely, you're not going to get on the rides because it's a safety complaint. Remember the lady who fell off the Texas ride and died because she was too obese from the ride and shouldn't have been on it. So she got there and she realized she wouldn't be able to fit into a lot of the rides. She was okay with that. But then she went to get on a ride that's kind of like a big Jeep, like almost like a bus, but it's designed to look like a Jeep because she's going on a King Kong ride, right? So what they do is say that the seats fit 8 people. I don't know how much it is, but say it fits 8 people. Now she knows she's pretty big. So she asked the employees if they could put less people, like maybe 5 people instead of 8. They told her that they are told to push for capacity. So if 8 people fit, 8 people have to fit. If you don't fit, too bad, right? So now she says because of that, she was fat shamed because of her weight. What do you think? I don't think that's fat shaming, and I'm a fat
No.
person. Sorry,
No.
you didn't fit. Squish in or get off.
Well, but it's just like with the planes. Like, what are we gonna do? Sue all the fucking airlines because you have to purchase 2 because you can't fit in just one seat? Like, come on,
Yeah.
people. Oh God. I'm not even going to entertain this. God, we're going to be next thing you know, we're going to be suing people because all of a sudden gray hair appeared on your pubic area because you were so
Old
fucking
shame.
stressed out. I can't fucking stand
Yeah.
people. I
It's
really
too
can't.
much. Like, look, I'm not gonna like point at you and say, "Oh, look at that fat bitch." I would
Yeah.
never do that to somebody. right? I'm a fat person. No, I'm a fat person too. But look, I know if I go to a place like this, I'm probably not going to fit on a majority of the rides. How dare I ask them to, like, everybody wants to get a ride. Everybody's there to get a ride. So somebody who stood in line for 2 hours, now I'm going to make them stand in line for 2 hours and 15 minutes because I'm fat and I'm taking up 2 to 3 spots? No. That's not fair. And I don't care if you're humiliated. Lose weight before you go there then. Or don't go. Like, I wouldn't go there because I'm fat.
It's what Arthur calls a snowflake mentality. It's like, no, you're not. Or my favorite was, I was reading this article about a woman who felt like she was being shamed at a store because they didn't carry her size.
Yeah. Sorry, if I go into Forever 21 and I'm in the freaking normal size section, they're not going to have my shirt in a freaking 2X. I'm going to have to go up to the plus size section or plus size store. That's how it works. I can't go into Zara. They're not going to have my size in Zara. Just how it is.
It's called reality. I'm not going to go to Victoria's Secret and find boxer briefs.
Yes, exactly.
Come on, people. My God. When are we ever going to stop with the fucking...
And no one's saying you can't be fat. Be fat all you want. But know that the world is not going to bend over backwards for you. You're not a disabled person that's in a wheelchair that can't change what's wrong with them. You know, I'll make amendments, or I'll make considerations, or I'll try to help the people that are handicapped and can't change something. You know, you're in a wheelchair. Let me try to get you on this ride if you can fit on this ride, right? Safely. Sorry if you're a fat person. You don't fit on the ride. That's life. And no, if I'm standing in line and this fat bitch can get to take up 3 spots while I'm still standing in line after 2 hours, I'm going to be mad too. And I'm going to yell at people. Right? It's only fair. So, anyway.
I just have no comment. I just stopped.
She wasn't even that fat. Like, I'm really looking at the picture of this lady, and she's skinnier than me. She's not even that fat. So, I think she's just trying to get a free. And she got, by the way, she got a $100 gift card and movie tickets.
I'm jealous.
I know. I said she's probably happy with that $100 gift card. That's a mean joke to make. But I'm fat, so I can make it. But anyway, I want to talk about this story before we run out of time. It's such a ridiculous story, but the more I think about it, the more I kind of get around on the side. So in Victoria, British Columbia, they've now allowed people to have chickens in their backyards. So, I mean, but the chickens, you can't sell the eggs. If you're going to have eggs, they have to be for your own use. So you can't give them away. You can't sell them because, you know, eggs can carry disease, right? So there's a lady who I don't know if she does a rooming house or she rents out like a big property with lots of people renting apartments. She has 45 tenants.
What?
And on a 2-acre lot. She wants to get 100 chickens in her backyard. That's a lot of chickens. Think how stinky chickens are. Think how much chickens and eggs attract raccoons, coyotes, fox, possibly even bears. In BC, there's a lot of bears. And disease. Like, we know that people living close to chickens get avian flu. SARS. Did SARS not come from chickens? Or was that the pigs? I can't remember.
I think it's the pigs.
But, like, and of course now she's in an upscale neighborhood. And, you know, nobody wants it there. But, I mean, even if I lived in a ghetto neighborhood, I would not want 100 chickens in my backyard. Or in my neighbor's backyard. You know what I mean? That's nasty.
Yeah, that's kind of disgusting.
That's not just 4 or 5 chickens. That's 100. And they make so much fucking noise. Cluckety cluck, cluck, cluck all freaking day long. And if they have a rooster, I hope they don't have a rooster because you'd never get any sleep. And just the smell of a chicken. Ever smell a live chicken?
Mm-hmm. They're disgusting.
I
don't know how to describe the smell. It's kind of like stale water. With a little bit
high ammonia.
Yes, and high ammonia. Yeah, it's weird. I don't understand how to describe it. It's not a pleasant smell at all.
No, and now 100, you have to go out there every day and clean up after them.
That's not once this bitch isn't gonna fucking do it. She's gonna be the cause of the fucking Walking Dead outbreak. What the fuck?
Probably. It's gonna start there in Victoria, BC. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. I don't even want neighbors. Why would I want 100 fucking chickens? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh my
But can you
God.
imagine how much raccoons are going to be tearing that? My cousin lives up on a farm up north, here in Ontario, and she had a few chickens, and the raccoons got in and killed all of them. They had to buy more chickens.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
It is sad. And she only had 4 or 5. You know, it's just it's crazy. Now they are going to pass a law that limits how many chickens each property can have, and they're also allowed
Unless
to have
that's
geese and
property.
ducks.
Yeah. Well,
I think they're gonna say 12 hens per yard.
people
But
take it
that
to
bylaw
the
has
next
passed, and they
level.
don't know if it'll like if she could grandfather in her 100 chickens, or if she'll have to get rid of the other ones and just keep it to
I
12.
feel like this bitch is meme worthy. Like, passed a law that can, that allows you to have chickens. I want 100. Like, what the fuck?
I know. And who's to say? I mean, is she like, if you have 45 tenants, does that mean you're supposed to feed them all? Like, what the hell? I kind of would like to have a pet chicken though. Ever see the ones and they walk
Oh
around the
my God,
house
stop.
and
I
they
don't want to talk to
peck?
you anymore. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I do not want to be your
If you ever
friend.
come and visit me, you have to sleep in the chicken coop, okay?
I will never. Fuck that shit. Oh my, am I the only traditional person left in the world? Dogs are pets.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a chicken, but they're kind of cute.
They're not jack. Okay, so when I was in the Philippines, they would use it for cockfighting, not cockfighting like what gay people do, but like actual cockfighting.
Yeah.
And they are annoying. I was so afraid. Maybe it's because
The
I'm
roosters
afraid of
are
almost anything.
vicious. They're vicious though.
I'm afraid of anything. I'm afraid of butterflies. I'm afraid of moths. I'm
Well,
afraid.
butterflies are just tarted up moths,
Yeah,
so
but they're fucking scary. Okay, I'm afraid of plastic bags that move in the wind. I'm
oh
afraid
my
of
god, you're like my
everything.
dog Dink. That's afraid of plastic bags.
Yeah, I am. You know what I want? I want a French bulldog. I want. I don't know. I want a a golden retriever. I want something
Ooh,
normal.
nice
Okay,
puppies. Yeah.
I want a fucking white picket fence or a black picket fence, so I don't fucking offend the other people. I don't care, just the fence. I
So your dogs can run around in your
Yeah,
yard.
in my yard. I don't want chickens, and if I ever find out that my neighbor has chickens, I will personally kill that shit, eat the breast because that's the only part that I eat, and
Me too.
I will tell them, what the fuck do you want from me? I cannot. They're very annoying. First of all, the moment they see sunlight, they're fucking roaring or
Oh, I don't know about chickens, but
croning
even
or
the
whatever the word
birds in
is.
the neighborhood are in the summertime.
Yes.
Those birds are going at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the sun has not even begun to
Yeah,
rise. Calm
and
down, birds.
shit out of me. I'm God, and maybe I'm just naturally a grumpy person, but oh my God, like this
That's
is
why I love birds.
intense.
Like I love to look at birds in the neighborhood. And whenever I go to the pet store, I always think, "Oh, I want a bird." But then I think of how they tweet nonstop, and I'm like, I don't want a bird in my house because
I
I'd be
don't
like,
want
"Shut the
birds.
fuck
I
up,
don't want
birds."
anything. Okay, so this whole time change, like for people that are not aware, in most countries we have time changes, right? We go
Daylight
back an
saving.
hour and then we go forward an hour. So we went forward an hour, and it's been fucking me up. And I'm starting to kind of hear a little bit of the chirps,
Yeah.
just a little bit of the chirps. And you know that spring is coming or winter is going away or whatever the case.
Yes.
I
I
think
saw
we're,
Robin last week, so spring is
uh,
definitely coming.
yeah, spring's definitely going to be here very shortly. And let me tell you, I'm dreading it. So can you imagine my neighbor having a chicken? I will
Oh
kill
my
them.
god.
I will kill my whole neighborhood.
Just go on a serial killing spree.
Yes.
There's a one chicken in one person's backyard.
And then when I guess I go to court and they ask me why I did it, I'll be like the chickens.
The chickens made me do it.
I have
Um,
avian flu.
do you
Fuck
want
that.
to talk about Dear Simon before we end the
Yes.
call or end of the show? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there's this movie book that came out some time ago, and the movie was just released, I think, Friday. It's called Dear Simon. It's about or is it Love Simon?
I think it's Dear
Whatever.
Simon.
And it's about this gay kid and how he had a hard time coming out and blah 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 blah, and he wasn't really that accepted. Welcome to almost every fucking gay person's fucking life story. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And how somebody's raking in from somebody's gay life story. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about cultural misappropriation. You know what really kind of bothers me about this storyline? Doesn't bother me. I'm sure it's beautiful. I actually have the book. It doesn't bother me that how do you say this? It doesn't bother me that it's this or it's that. You know what really bothers me? Again, the presentation that we have of what we think gay people need to look like. Caucasian as always, skinny, attractive as always. And if you are a gay kid, like I was growing up, I grew up in New York City, you know, and I'm sure some kids have it even harder in a little bit more rural town. And you already feel like shit and you don't belong. This kind of a movie, this kind of a book will make you feel absolutely shitty. Why can't we have, and oh my God, I am starting to sound like my peoples, the millennials. Why can't we really have a real good representation of what people look like? You know what I'm saying? Well, people, I love that post that you made about, you know, when somebody is getting strangled with a plastic bag, why can't they just fucking, you know, and then
pull a hole over their mouth? Yeah.
What was my comment on that? Because you saw my little comment on there, which was people wake up in a coma and they're fucking beautiful still, right?
Oh yeah,
This unrealistic view that we have of gay. It's this perfect, and it bothered me. I saw the trailer for it not too long ago actually, and I was so bothered, and I said to myself, how the are we going to ever move forward? This is exactly what we think of young gays, these twins.
Well, because that's what we see on TV, the sidekick. It's never the star. I mean, finally we got a gay person as the star. But they're always like the sidekick that's a little bit quirky, but they're still pretty handsome or good looking. Yeah.
It's really, really sickening. You know it's a really good movie that's going to come out that I think a lot of people should absolutely watch because they think it's going to teach you a lot about humanity and teach you a lot about love, is Every Day. There's no release date. There's no release date on it yet. It's a beautiful book by David Levithan. A gorgeous, gorgeous book. I've read that book at least twice.
Yeah, it's nice.
You want to talk about real love. You want to talk about
you basically the premise is this guy wakes up every day in a different body.
We can't say guy. This entity.
Yeah, just this personality. Right? We don't know if he's a guy or girl. But at some point they fall in love with a person that they meet. And
there's more along the way. We're not really spoiling.
Yeah. Not to spoil it, but falls in love with a girl. It happens to be a girl in this case. But as A keeps changing bodies and seeking out the girl, she really does kind of come to accept A, the person, and not the way they look in their body.
In their body. And it's, no, I'm not saying.
And you're right. It is a genderless love story. Yeah.
If people really, because this, you know, you are at an age, 16, 17, 15, 14, you are at such an impressionable age. You start to feel like, why am I not represented in the movies? And
we hear that from everybody. I mean, you have Black people saying we're not represented. You have Asians. You have Latinos.
Finally, we have Black Panther, who's doing very well. Big fuck you to fucking people thinking that this wasn't going to be a success. And look, it is successful.
Oh, and it's not just like, let's just say this. It's not just Black people seeing this movie.
Yeah,
I know tons of different people, different cultures. I had my dentist talked about how much he loved Black Panther. Yeah. He's definitely not Black. So
it shows you, I mean, Love, Simon, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I'm really bothered.
So you think it's just going to do a lot of harm to kids that are kind of coming into themselves and feeling
if I was that
they're not good enough.
If I was that age again, it would remind me of the pain and the heartache of what it was to not fit in. I have, I'd love to, and maybe later on, as the show progresses, I'd love to really talk about how I think the gay culture, the gay community, the male gay community has it really fucked up. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, like we've mentioned, I know we can't go into too much detail because we're almost done, but you've mentioned that before, like, like if you're not the look, if you're not the clothes, you kind of are rejected by a lot of the people in the community. And I always want to ask you this too, because like, in I'm only hetero, I can only express what I know in hetero, you just like a guy. You might be into jocks, you might be into punks, but there's no like there's the daddies, there's the twinks, there's the bears, there's the a million subgroups in the gay community, and
some of us don't belong in any group.
Yeah, it's I mean, how do you know which group you're in, and how do you know what you like? And it seems really kind of a lot of pressure.
I'll kind of leave it at this, and I hope this entices a lot of our listeners to listen in, so maybe we could discuss this with even Arthur on the show. I had a recent, I know we're almost really done. I had a recent conversation with a person who considers themselves to be an otter. Right? I don't know what an otter is. Do not ask. And then that this person absolutely likes bears. Bears are, I think, men who are just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, big and burly and maybe a little hairy, possibly.
Yeah. And I had asked, well, what would I be?
Yeah.
Average. And I kind of was just like astounded that I did not, again, I could not belong in a community. That I am
break the mold all the time.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to say I'm like a fucking superstar or whatever, but
no. I'm
just whatever. Like, again, you're just a throwaway character. It's a very interesting conversation to have because it would shock a lot of people. And
it's interesting that you say throwaway because to me, I mean, but I'm not gay and I can't speak for the community. You say throwaway, but I say unique.
Okay, Judy Garland.
Are you there? God, it's me, Cynthia.
Yeah. No, I'd like to discuss this really because especially maybe I can create something and we could do this on Gay Pride Month. But I'd like to talk about how,
great.
Because as we celebrate Gay Pride and as we talk about inclusiveness, there's a lot of steps that we need to take to actually include people.
And we can then, we know quite a few gay people. We can always see if somebody wants to come in and tell their story.
Yeah.
Whether they're male, woman, trans, whatever they want, whatever they identify with. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Okay, so thanks for listening. It was good to have you back, Cynthia. We will not be here on Wednesday. I have to work, so we'll see you next Monday. Have a good week. Bye.
Have a good week, lesbians.